that aggression and teasing and bullying can all be understood as part of the same or as separate. But I think it really is important to speak to the concept of teasing a little bit. Because there were many people, and if you remember back to your childhood, there were adults who would come and do this to you. Remember that? God, did anyone like that? So adults who did that didn't understand the impact of that intrusion. Had no idea. That's the same thing as teasing. It's a physical manifestation of how we think about teasing. So that the little girl who's come home from her dancing class, and the kindly grandpa says to her, "So, did you crash through the floor yet?" And everybody laughs in great gales of laughter that this is a little klutz girl who's doing a dance class, and isn't that funny? They see it as being affectionate. Adults, older people more so than younger people, younger adults. So people say things that they think are funny, and that's why they say them. It's almost endearing. They don't mean to be cruel. So teasing comes from a perspective of not wanting to do harm. You know, the three things we spoke about that constitute bullying, that it must be repetitive and it must be intentional. So teasing is not intended to hurt. It's intended to connect, to be funny and make us all laugh. So the other thing that little girls put up with humiliation all the time. Can you imagine someone saying, "Oh, I see little boobies sprouting there"? In what context is that okay? Can you imagine? The humiliation of that child who's going to wear 3 coats and a sweater and a scarf. You know, the invasion of their personal privacy. And the person who says that loves the child, right? But there are people who remember that. In every schoolyard that I can remember, and you probably have seen it, you certainly would know this one. Recess time, the boys in grade 8 pull the bra straps and snap, right? Has anyone had that happen? See? And what did you think about that? Didn't like it? No. But what did you do about it? You have to laugh because they're laughing, right? And basically, you know, even though you might be mortified, humiliated, denigrated, you understand that it wasn't cruel in its intention. And you know, so much of life is about our intentions. It's not very often people mean to be cruel. It's people in pain who are cruel. So the difference, okay, so when you're little and say you're 5 and under, what does teasing look like? It's not socially isolating children, you can't sit here. It's not necessarily vicious name calling, but it can be things that are related to how the child looks, how the child speaks, some aspect. So teasing typically is verbal, and preschoolers don't usually use their verbal capacities to hurt. They usually use their physical capacities to hurt. But when they learn about rhyming, and I've discussed this with Rafi, you know, that Rafi actually sponsored Roots of Empathy where he lives, on the island he lives, and attended one particular class. Every single class. 27 classes. Unbelievable. But, you know, when children learn to rhyme, it's quite powerful. And I mean, from the perspective of early literacy development, it's a milestone in being able to rhyme. We really work on that. It's part of the whole phonics story. And it's very exciting. So children engage in wordplay, just like a baby who's learning the power of their voice will start to babble, and they'll say ba 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 ma ma ma. And of course, everybody thinks they're saying da 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 da, and they're all dancing with delight. But the child who's 2 to 5, say, that has realized that words are powerful and playful. We use our language. We do rhymes with them. Here's a little bunny with ears so funny, and here's his hole in the ground. We do that because we're appealing to their love of language. And quite honestly, the power of the early childhood educator is whatever you love, so do they. So your excitement about language, your excitement about music, your excitement about reading, your excitement about spring, doesn't matter what you're excited about, you're modeling excitement for the child and they love it. So teasing when you're 4 could be poopy patty, poopy patty. Toilet humor reigns supreme. Some little boys never grow out of it. How many fart jokes have you heard from grown men? Are whoopee cushions not big sellers? All to say, isn't that sweet? That the milestone of rhyming words is basically the fodder for teasing in the preschool setting. There's nothing wrong with that, except if you're going to be saying something that falls on someone else's ears in a hurtful way, you need to be responsible. So it's not to criticize the child who's teasing another child by saying something that ends up being hurtful. It's helping the child who's saying that understand how it falls on someone else's ear. So again, here's your role, to say, I wonder if you asked Patty how she feels when the children chant that. In kindergarten playgrounds, and in older children too, you often hear chanting. Chanting is great. Not so great if you're the victim of it. And children fall into, and particularly 7-year-olds, it's at the gang stage. It used to be when they were 8, now it's earlier. You join clubs. You make cards to join the clubs. You can't play, you're not in the club, right? But you can't join the club. Why? Maybe because she has brown hair, or maybe because, I don't know. But children make up rules. You're in or you're out. It's very important to be a card-carrying member of some mystery club or the Something Explorers, or you meet down at the rock in the playground at recess. Doesn't matter. It's to understand developmentally that children need to be part of a group. So what do? We create positive opportunities for children to be part of a group. But if your little preschoolers are saying things, once they've got this marvelous tool that language is power, and that we can do things that make people laugh, do you know how positive that is? Some children actually are performers while they're toddlers. So if you've worked in toddler programs, how many of you have worked in toddler programs? Okay. Have you ever worked with a child who just tickled your funny bone? Yeah. They come like that. They have a capacity to engage and make us just happy and laugh. The trick is, how do you keep that capacity positive? Because very often those very social little children who we love to have around because they do make us laugh. And I have to say, laughter is very undervalued in our society. Without a good belly laugh a day, you haven't lived.